will not need any foreign exchange. It has 2 years moratorium time. From an economic point of view, this is the best moment to move for the rail line. The loan does not rule out risk. There could be risk involved in the loan. The loan was predicated on the idea that between 2 years of moratorium, the state will get a concession, and if a concession is not gotten, there is need to check the implication on the balance sheet. The implication of the ministry balance sheet cannot be worse. The implication now be about interest rate, debt services, and repayment. The loan is the best the state can get globally. The risk factor will not be too high. It has no budget implication in the moratorium period, and work has commenced on possible concession proposals from different parties competing for the rail line. Mr. Ige Olujimi, Permanent Secretary, Debt Management Office, stated that as at 31st August 2020, the debt profile of the state was 1,048,965,213,158 naira 10 kobo only. The debt to sustainability ratio was projected that by 2021 it will be 18.90. The external loan will be 14,775,117,307 naira 26 kobo only. The internal loan will be 47,101,587,569 naira and 50 kobo only. The consolidated debt servicing account (CDSA) will be 69,052,017,022 naira only. The debt charges will be 30,287,140,899 naira 50 kobo. In total, debt will be 161,250,862,798 naira 26 kobo only. The projection was based on the revenue of 853 billion 259 naira only. Members of the committee inquired about the debt profile of the state without concessionaire and if the state can sustain the loan, and he responded that his office has not taken into consideration the concessionaire cash flow in the project, and since there is a 2-year moratorium, it will be fathomed into year 2023 projection. Mr. Oladende Frederick, Commissioner, Ministry of Transportation, briefed that Lagos transport system, Lamata, will generate over 24 million trips per day. The transport system will have over 24 million trips in the Agbado Marina corridor to be shared with Nigerian Railway Corporation. The 10 years projection for the transportation system was 40 million trips, and there is no way the road network could cope. This is why the red line and blue rail is essential in order to dislodge traffic gridlock. The red line is 37-kilometer rail line from Agbado to Marina. In the transaction, according to him, we are focusing on 24 kilometers, which is from Agbado to Oyingbo. Lagos State will be sharing the track with federal government from Agbado to Ibutemeta, while the state will build the section from Oyingbo to Marina. The section from Oyingbo to Marina has 9 tracks, and some sections, so intersections, need to be built. And once it gets to Marina, it will take off over 1 million trips from Lagos roads. Engineer Mrs. Abimbola Akinyajo, Managing Director, Lagos State Metropolitan Transport Authority, Lamata, submitted as follows. The red line is a 37-kilometer of north to south rail route alignment which spans from Marina to Agbado. The implementation of the red line project was proposed to be in 3 phases. Phase 1 from Oyingbo to Agbado, phase 2 from Marina to Oyingbo, and phase 3 from Ebute Metta Junction to Agbado. The state have good collaboration with the federal government and Nigeria Railway Corporation on the sharing of NRC track. The state will have saved over 360 billion naira. In order to facilitate the safe and seamless operation of the road line, critical infrastructure such as overpasses and pedestrian bridges will be required to ensure the safe and smooth operation of the red line. The proposed interstate service is expected to provide 2 trains an hour in each direction, which the red line is expected to have train services at every 8 minutes headway. The proposed rail services for both NRC and Lagos State government will increase the risk of accidents at the level crossing. That is, there is need to provide great separated crossing for both pedestrian and vehicular traffic in the form of overpasses and pedestrian bridges where required, and to be constructed by Lagos State Government through Lamata on the one hand, and Federal Ministry of Transportation and NRC on the other hand. There will be an additional construction of 6 intermediate stations and sidings at Oyingbo, Yaba, Mushin, Oshodi, Ikeja, and Iju stations. Additional work will be carried out on the rail station to enable the red line to pick passengers from NRC stations so that people can travel from Agbado to Oyingbo. A major integrated station at Marina that will allow easy access for both red and blue lines, BRT buses and regular buses, as well as ferry terminal. The same thing will occur at Mile 2, which is to serve as a major terminal for blue rail lines. The vision is to have an integrated transportation system in the state. The transport system aims at 12 to 14 million trips per day. The train will start running with 8 cartridges. The expectation is that the train will take 700 to 750 passengers per day. Members interrogated the managing director on gray areas as follows. On how many passengers per day, she informed that the expectation is 700 to 750, but upon completion, the expectation will be 1 million per day from Agbado to Marina. On how commensurate the rail line project is to the world, she stated that the state will spend less compared to most climb that will spend about $24 to $25 million per kilometer, and the more it extends, the cost will be multiplied. On if the project will be completed before the end of year 2020, she informed the agreement with CCECC was for 24 months. On how many properties will be affected, she insisted that Lamata has good understanding of the affected properties and they will be duly compensated. On where exactly is the Ebute Metta Junction, she replied that the big building along Muritala Mohammed Way to NRC compound will serve as Ebute Metta Junction for the rail line. On upfront payment to the contractor, she explained that based on the agreement with CCECC, they won't receive any advance payment. On intramodal transportation and connection to jetty, she said that the idea was to connect the road, the rail, red and blue lines, and water transportation to meet at Marina. On credible contractor for the project, she informed that the contractor, CCECC, and the Lagos-Ibadan rail project has been contracted to do the work. On how many trains they intend to buy, she said minimum of 8 to start, and it will increase as service goes on. On agreement with CCECC, she promised to make a copy available to the House, which she did, and we have seen it. On the number of passengers along the rail line corridor, she stated that a total number of 12 passengers and pedestrians are needed, and she showed us the attachment. Blue rail line, she briefed that the blue line project will cover 4 stations, Mile 2 Alaba, Igomu, and National Theatre. The level of work done is 95% completed, and the outstanding was National Theatre to Marina Station. The sum of 135 billion plus $11,000. The money is meant for the payment of one electrical multiply unit train set, 2T2M, which they've actually bought it for some time now. Till date, the sum of 106 billion, 109 million, 703,051 naira, 11 kobo, plus 10,535,000 dollars only has been paid to contractors. The above being the current updates on the Blue Line project. The sum of 41 billion, 849 million, 609,425 naira, 71 kobo is the amount owed CCECC on the Mile 12 Marina based on the level of work done up to date. And in addition to that, the contractor has agreed that no additional payment will be paid until, upon paying the 30 million, he will construct and finish that project before he can now talk about getting his outstanding paid. The sum of 17 billion is needed to complete the project. In response to members' question that on the completion period, she said once the 30 billion is paid to the contractor, the whole work will be completed and it will be functional by the end of year 2022. And the operational infrastructure will be completed within 9 months. Observations. Based on the briefing and documentation received, the committee observed that the differentiated cash reserve requirement is domiciled in the Central Bank of Nigeria. 2, Lagos State will be the first subnational to access the lending window, which offers the cheapest cost of funds in the market. 3, the Lagos State government has entered into contract with China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation Nigeria Limited for the design and construction of 37-kilometer rail route. 4, the state will construct rail mass transit red line from Marina to Agbado along the Nigerian Railway Corporation right of way. 5, the state plans to finance phase 1 of the LRMT red line project from DCRR CBN intervention loans, funds of 93 billion. The loan will be assessed through 3 deposit money banks to financial institutions. First Bank of Nigeria, 34 billion, United Bank for Africa, 25 billion, and Zenith Bank, 34 billion. The state plans to finance the completion of phase 1 of the LRMT Blue Line project from Mile 2 to Marina from DCRR CBN intervention funds of 60 billion. The project will be funded and completed within 24 months. There is no material impact on the state budget with an anticipated concession prior to or upon completion of the balance sheet impact. The DCRR facility is for a period of 8 years, inclusive of 2 years moratorium period, and the interest rate in the first year is 5% and subsequently 9%. Recommendation. Based on the above observations, the committee recommends that the House do grant approval for the request of the sum of 93 billion and 60 billion, totaling 153 billion for Lagos Rail Mass Transit, Red Line and Blue Line projects, financing differentiated cash reserve requirements, DCRR CBI intervention facility. Appreciation. The chairman and the sitting members, on behalf of the committee, I wish to appreciate and express our appreciation to the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable M. Obasa, for the confidence reposed in us, also the Clerk of the House and the Secretariat for a job well done. Thank you. Olorotimi Emmanuel.
Honorable Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to move that the report as presented by Honorable Olo be adopted for debate.
Honorable Akode. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so second.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Is there any comments or reservation about the report? If there is none, let someone move motion for adoption of the recommendation as the resolution of the House. Honorable Kasumu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that the recommendations that presented be adopted as the resolution of the House.
Honorable Jimmy Mohammed.
I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I wish to move that the House reverts to plenary as so moved.
Honorable Tobo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it.
At the Committee of the Whole, the House took the presentation of the report by the Finance Committee in respect of request for approval for the Lagos Transit LRMT Red Line and Blue Line project financing, differentiated cash reserve requirement, DCRR, CBN facility. The report was presented by the chairman, and members found the report so clear that there were no present. The recommendations of the committee was subsequently by motion adopted as a resolution of the House. Mr. Speaker, I wish to state that that is what transpired from the Committee of the Whole in respect of the report. Thank you.
Honorable Setonji.
That fellow Speaker, I rise to affirm that that's the true reflection, that's the true recap of what happened at the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Makinde.
I rise to support the affirmation.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. And Mr. Clark kindly send the resolve of the House to Mr. Governor immediately after plenary. Our Majority Leader.
With the approval of the Right Honorable Speaker, I move that the House adjourns to Monday, the 12 noon. I so move.
Honorable Okolan.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. This House stands adjourned till Monday, 12 October 2020 at 12 noon prompt. I rise.